lucky, you know, make a crash in the Dakar. Many times people have crashes, but I think when I was falling, I was making sole, and it's broken in the shoulder. But no operation, and I only have some weeks, but out of the race, you know. 5 Dakars, 5 starts, 5 finishes, and the 6th one was not so good for me, especially on the 40th birthday too, you know. So not so nice, but yeah, I come to see all my teammates, to see the team, and to wish everybody well. Obviously, the Gulwaz team that I'm in are the first 3 pilots, so it's really great to come and say hello and wish them well.
Certainly a very tough stage for the last stage. Very, very rocky, even more rocky than yesterday. So you could really break your car today. So we pushed hard in the beginning and we had a nice run, and until we got lost. We got lost for about 25 kilometers. I think we lost 10 or 15 minutes, which is a pity, but otherwise we went well. No problems. The car was running very well.
Moses parted the Red Sea over the Sinai Desert in biblical times. Will the field be split up today? 76 minutes. Surely this will be the day that he seals his 7th Dakar. Kamel Sheikh, the penultimate. From having had nearly 3 weeks in the desert, the Dakar finally reaches some sea. The desert touching the sea. And at the head of the order, Mitsubishi with team orders in place. We're going to cruise to the finish today. It was all in hand. Stefan Peder-Hansel leading overall. Or so he thought. Drama hitting Peder-Hansel some 66 kilometers into the stage. A broken radiator meant that all of mission control lit up on the dashboard. The water temperature went sky high, and Stefan Peder-Hansel and Jean-Paul Cotteret were all hands on deck to try and rectify what was a brand new radiator fitted by Mitsubishi late last night. They had a lead of 25 minutes and 50 seconds into the stage this morning. It was touch and go. He says there is a problem with the radiator. We went off the track, but it wasn't especially dangerous. We then saw the emergency light come on, so we know that we had a whole radiator. And the water was continuing to drip out, and his lead was slipping through his hands. But soon he was on his way. And chasing hard up to the first control points this morning. He tried to keep what little advantage he had. It was flat out stuff. It was going to be touch and go for Stefan Peder-Hansel. Luc Alphonse saw that Peder-Hansel was in trouble and let him through. And likewise, one of the pro trucks. Everybody was trying to help Peder-Hansel. Masuoka got to the second control point ahead of Peder-Hansel. So therefore, Peder-Hansel had made up the time. It was pretty well now, even Stevens. So the panic was over, and Peder-Hansel continued in the lead. But again, there was a problem with the radiator. The bonnet was up, the drivers were out. Luc Alphonse was coming past for the second time. And once more, a panic ensued after the second control point. The bonnet was down, the clips were done up as the water had been put back into the radiator. He was on his way. And still he had an advantage. He was still the virtual leader of the Dakar overall. However, he was caught in someone else's dust, Jutta Kleinschmidt's dust, through one of the deep valleys. And drama once more hitting Stefan Peder-Hansel for the 3rd time in the day, but this time it was a little more terminal. The front left wheel was completely ripped off. The upright was on the floor. The shock absorber was barely held by the brake lines. And Stefan Peder-Hansel's Paris-Dakar was slipping through his hands. He said we tried to get to the end of the stage. We went slowly for about 45 kilometers before the finish, and we were behind Jutta. There was a lot of dust behind her, but we drove slowly. Trouble was, the dust hit all of the rocks. I went straight on and I hit a stone. It's definitely the end for today, maybe the end of the rally. So without drive, there was nothing left but for the Mitsubishi truck to tow him out. He had lost the lead of the Dakar. He finished 40th today, nearly 3 hours off the pace. Matsuoka therefore leads the Paris-Dakar overall. He has inherited the lead from Stefan Pederhansel. Pederhansel's luck coming all in one day. Matsuoka has had his bad luck so far in this rally, and he now continues to lead overall. Back to the stage though. Mickey Biasion fought through the carnage, and the Italian was the victor on today's stage, taking his first ever Dakar stage victory. The two-time World Rally Champion was in his stride and going well. Trouble was, he broke second gear in the stage and he had to limp through, hoping that the gearbox would last. It did. He was victorious. Jean-Pierre Fontenay, his teammate, was third on the stage today, and he's now in second position overall. Ari Vatanen was eighth today, and he got confused together with his teammate, Camille de Villiers of South Africa. They went down the wrong valley just as the motorcycles had done, and it was a three-point turn for de Villiers. De Villiers got lost for 25 kilometres. He probably lost 15 minutes, and he's now lost all chance of getting into the top 5 ahead of Sousa. He was only 6 minutes back of Sousa this morning, and he's about the same behind him this evening. Stefan Orard was second on today's stage. He went like the clappers and just missed out on Volkswagen's debut stage victory in their rookie year. Luc Alphon, the victor a couple of days ago, was in mechanical problems. He was 14th on the stage today. He lost 40 minutes. He says it's the Dakar. 60 Ks before the end, and there's a mechanical problem. But we've got to get going quick to keep ahead of Monterde. Matthew Stevenson working hard to fix the power steering pump. He got to the finish safe and sound. Time to take a breath. And likewise with Pederhansel moving from 2 to 4 wheels. Here's Andrea Meyer, the German lady driver, on board with her. She says it's very difficult to drive behind a car because all the dust, it's frustrating because we can go faster, but you can't. If you want to overtake, you must take risks, and that can cause a crash. You must have self-control. It's not a good thing to attack here because if you have a crash, you could lose everything.
Weil es einfach keinen Sinn hat, hier Attacke zu fahren. Man macht mehr kaputt, als man gewinnen kann.
C'est un petit peu juste. Je sors encore à
gauche. The co-driver saying, go left of this car, go left.
Je sors encore à gauche. Là, ça passe.
And she gets past safely. She's going to get to the finish of her first Dakar on 4 wheels. Well done, Andrea. So Biasion taking his maiden Dakar victory ahead of Stefan Orard, who was just behind Fontenay, de Villiers and Sousa. What could de Villiers have done without getting lost? Matsuoka, Fontenay, Biasion, Pederhansel now 4th, and Carlos Sousa in 5th. Matsuoka saying, I'm sad. Pederhansel is a quick driver and he's a gentleman as a teammate, and he has really had very, very bad luck today. But I know the Paris-Dakar can be won or lost in just one day. I remember myself 2 years ago, I had the same feeling that Stefan has today. I'm not really happy to win like this, but that's just the way it is.
Toute la journée, j'ai pensé à Ari Vatanen.
All day long, I thought the Vatanen was going to overtake me. He was only 35 minutes behind me overall this morning, and I felt that we were losing time all the time today, going in and out of the valleys. At the end of the stage, though, Bobby and I were convinced we had lost our 7th place.
Donc c'est très difficile de savoir en fait.
During the stage, it's very difficult to know if you're okay or not. The only thing is that I was sure to lose time, so I attacked everywhere. Each time we were lost in the valley, I attacked even more.
Parce que chaque fois qu'on se trompait de
And that's
vallée,
the reason we had a good result
on disait bon maintenant il faut rattraper le temps
today.
perdu, donc on mettait un peu les gaz. Et c'est peut-être ça qui a fait qu'au fil de la journée ça se termine bien.
Biassi on the podium, he says, I'm happy to be here. I didn't think that it would be possible, but we broke the gearbox and we were losing oil right from the start of the stage. We heard a noise for 300 kilometers from the gearbox, but I'm happy now to make it here. But we've got to repair the car. Now, Biassi repaired the car on the podium because the gearbox completely seized. The car would not move at all. They had to disconnect the drive shaft in order to push the car out. However, this is not allowed as essentially the control zone is a parc fermé area, and he has now this evening been docked 10 hours of penalty, and he drops to 15th in the overall standings. Stefan Pederhansel may have lost the lead of this year's Dakar on the penultimate stage, but he is one of the living legends of this rally. Pederhansel took part in his first Dakar in 1988 at the age of 22 on a Yamaha. He finished in 18th place. In 89 he jumped right up the order and finished 4th overall after 6 stage wins. In 1990 he was one of the favourites along with Neveu and Orioli. He was leading overall, but he ran out of petrol and could not take the victory. He continued on, but unfortunately retired a couple of days later. After having learnt, Pederhansel was ready for victory in 91, taking the lead at Agadez. He then won the Dakar for the first time, but the history was just beginning. Pederhansel then took the next Dakars, Paris Cape Town in 92 and the Dakar in 93. But unfortunately, Yamaha decided not to participate in 94 and he saw his series of victories interrupted. His comeback in 95 saw him have a whole sump. He repaired it to come through and win with a tremendous glory ride at the end of a brilliant fight back. 96 was cruel as he had to quit through a petrol problem. Having not been beaten since 90 in a straight fight, this one hurt. Happiness returned in 97 when he won the Dakar for the 5th time and equalled the record of Cyril Neveu before beating it outright in 98 with 6 victories. He is the best rider in Dakar history, and after this success he finished with 2 wheels at 33 years old to start with cars. In 99 he drove for Nissan with the same motivation to do what Hubert Auriol had done, to win on 2 and 4 wheels. It's maybe the beginning of a new career for me. I know that I cannot win the Dakar this year, but my only objective is to win the Dakar soon. I'm not going to do this to win it immediately, but I'm going to do it because I want to win. 7th in the final results, first Dakar out. Pederhansel then had the new Mega mid-engine project in 2000. At the wheel of this prototype, he won 2 stages and was 2nd overall only to Schlesser. Sadly, he couldn't get the budget to continue with the car in 01, so he took a standard Nissan and won the T1 marathon class category in 2001. Nissan gave him a pickup for the 02 Dakar and he showed strongly. Now he has a 3-year contract with Mitsubishi, and having led this year's event nearly all the way, he'll be back for more in 12 months' time for revenge.
We didn't think we were going to stand here, but it's really a great feeling to be here. Although on the last stage now we just had 15 kilometers from the end, I think we broke the camshaft and we were on 3 cylinders. So my heart was really pumping fast and sitting right here because the sand was quite thick, and there was one place where we really just made it over in first gear. And then at the end of the stage, of course, we couldn't quite stop dead, so Pascal jumped out and got the time card stamped and everything, and we just made it here. But at least we made it, and it's an incredible experience.
What are your best memories of this year?
Well, I think it's not. There's not any single memory that's good. It's been the whole experience for me because it's been my first race, and just every stage. Yesterday's stage was incredibly difficult and probably the most difficult of the Dakar. It just showed yesterday how things can change right near the end. And it's never over until the flag drops. But it's just an incredible experience driving through the desert, and the scenery is unbelievable. It's just a pity we can't look at it for longer. But no, the whole Dakar to me was an incredible experience.